Hey everybody, it's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, October 23rd, 2022. Now, for the second week in a row, our big, explosive secret reveal has come from a confession. Nate busted himself last week. Diane busted herself this week. I guess that's modern soap opera for you. I guess the characters have to bust themselves so that they can get to their redemption arc quicker? I don't know. Oh, Diane. Diane. Trapped in a web of double blackmail. That sounds about right, really. It sounds very Diane. Double blackmail. But none of it was her fault. You have to understand, she had no choice. She had to do the bad things. What do you guys think of that? Do you find Diane to be a sympathetic character? With her tale of woe and all her other tales of woe, do you find Diane to be sympathetic, or are you like playing the world's smallest violin every time you hear her talk? I thought that might be a good poll question for this week at yrchat.com. Do you have sympathy for Diane? She confessed to Jack this week. She knew the walls were closing in. There was a triple threat. Double blackmail. Now, a triple threat to expose the double blackmail. Phyllis, Nikki, and Ashley. They were all working together to find her secret. And plus, Tucker was backing out of their deal. This week he told her he decided he was just going to continue blackmailing her indefinitely. So I guess it all just became too much for her. So she told Jack, who was already suspicious, the whole truth about her time in LA and everything she was hiding. And I think she wanted to tell him before someone else could tell him for her. So the story goes, shortly after Diane's death, she met who she thought was a very sexy, very charming, jet-setting businessman, another former soap star. And this guy was taking her on all these fabulous vacations around the world, wooing her. She thought that she had just come into some luck. This could be it. This could be the relationship of her life. But what she was really doing was getting roped into a money laundering scandal. He was using her as a money laundering mule. Oh, she thought it was love, but he was stuffing cash into her luggage, taking her on all these trips, and then going into the luggage and pulling out the cash and depositing it in banks across the world. When she realized what was going on, she confronted him. And she found out that it was a setup all along. He knew all about her fake identity. He knew that she wasn't Taylor Jensen, she was Diane Jenkins. And in fact, he was part of the criminal crew that helped her set up her new identity. And then that's how he was able to keep blackmailing her into keeping the money laundering scam going. So she had to keep going with it, or he'd bust her to the cops. But then he's the one that got busted. I love the scene, by the way, where he told her that the cops, the cops are on to him, the feds are on to him, the cops could be coming at any time. It could be today, tomorrow, a week from now. It could be before I finish this drink. And then cue the sirens, the police car sirens in the background. That was just unintentionally cheesy and very funny to me. They could be coming anytime. I'm sure the cops flip on their sirens to go make a federal bust on a money launderer. Hey, I love that little restaurant, though. The meeting spot. I think Y&R is suddenly spoiling us on all these new sets. Summer and Kyle had their honeymoon, too, their little honeymoon bungalow. You know, I really like the Summer and Kyle scenes, too. Summer and Kyle actually looked sunburned. Did you notice that? It was a great job from the makeup department. Their faces, their bodies, they looked sunburned. I totally believed that they had just rolled in from the beach to shower off the sand and then sex it up. Oh, poor Kyle. Kyle on his honeymoon, thinking about how much his life has changed, having his mother back in it. And, you know, he'd gone through most of his life with this hole that was always there. Now that hole has been filled. Cut to Diane spilling her guts to Jack, which changes nothing, by the way. Phyllis, Nikki, and Ashley are still hunting down the connection. They're probably inches away from finding out what Diane told Jack about Tucker. So Tucker just so happened to recognize Diane in LA when she was living under the assumed name. Tucker found out about the money laundering secret that the cops were unable to connect her to. Oh, cops couldn't figure it out, but Tucker could figure it out. And then he started blackmailing her for information on Ashley. Apparently, Tucker was the one who discovered chemo's not death, and that Jack had a granddaughter, Allie. And so Tucker gave Diane the tip about Allie. So Diane sold everything that she had to buy chemo's house and slowly work her way back in with Jack, all the while, I guess, feeding information to Tucker about Ashley. Now, this is the part that truly makes no sense to me. Why would Tucker give Diane the opportunity to be the Abbott family hero, presenting them with the new granddaughter that they never knew they had? Why would he give that opportunity to Diane instead of taking that glory for himself and then ingratiating himself with Ashley? He let Diane ingratiate herself with Jack instead of ingratiating himself with Ashley. Furthermore, why would Tucker send Diane to Genoa City, where Ashley is not? Why would Tucker send Diane to Genoa City, where Ashley is not, to keep tabs on Ashley? Ashley's only in Genoa City once every 3 months at best. Couldn't he just go to Paris? Why did he need Ashley to be in Genoa City to talk to her? Do they not allow helicopters in France? Is Allie going to learn the full truth about how deeply she was used as part of the Abbott family drama? Is Allie going to find that out? Because if Allie realizes the full truth about what went on, she's also going to realize why chemo stepped away from the Abbott family all those years ago. And why he is secretly plotting his return. I'm kind of looking forward to Allie finding that out and seeing what her reaction will be like. She was kind of a mule herself. But for now, it seems like Allie's sole focus is just on Noah and keeping Audra away from Noah. I don't blame her. Audra is desperate. Noah has told Audra twice to just stay away from him. Yet here she is, showing up at his empty club, hoping to steal a few moments with him. I guess maybe steal is the right word to use here, because I think that Audra's hoping to steal him away from Allie. She's definitely spouting the "it wasn't all bad between us" narrative when it comes to their failed relationship. But that's not the story that Noah is telling. So it'll be interesting to see what Audra actually does, because talking's not doing the trick. The irony. Audra's definitely not saying anything that is convincing Noah, and she's certainly not intimidating Allie. Not when Allie's got the advice of Grandpa Jack's years of experience backing her up. Oh, I thought it was cute that Allie opened up to Jack. She could barely keep her mind on business. Jack mentioned that, Allie got to sit in on this meeting, and one day she could be just like Ashley. She could be both a chemist and an executive. And I was totally delighted by that idea. But Allie had nothing but Audra on her mind, and then sure enough, she walked in on Audra and Noah together. I don't know, I guess there's only so much reassuring that anyone can do it's Allie's choice. I mean, eventually you either got to let it go or the paranoia will get you. When Christine showed up at Crimson Lights this week, it finally clicked with me that new summer Allison Lanier reminds me a lot of Christine. Now, okay, hear me out. She has the same blonde layered haircut. And she has mastered that disapproving look with, arms folded stance. That it's just a look that Christine is so famous for. She's done it so often. And, Summer and Christine still look to be about the same age. What is it with Laura Lee Bell? What is it? Does she have magical genes? Or has she found the fountain of youth skincare product that I've been looking for? I don't know, but I just love her. It was so nice to see her. And I was glad that she was showing up with some good news. Mariah and Tessa put up an adoption parenting profile, and apparently a young mother named Joss has contacted them, selected them for an interview to become a potential candidate to adopt her baby. I'm really impressed, actually, that Mariah and Tessa have stuck with the adoption route, even though either of them could feasibly seek out a sperm donor at this point. Mariah really enjoyed her pregnancy. She had a year that she had to wait, but now Dom is a year old, so that time has passed, and it wasn't the right time for Tessa then, but maybe, she would reconsider it now. But they really haven't gone back to that point. They've stuck with the adoption route, and I think it's great. I just have a real soft spot for families who choose to foster and adopt. There's just so many kids who need good homes, and I think that's such a wonderful gift of life to give, and I hope that it works out for them. I'd really like to see this route work out for Mariah and Tessa. If Cassie were here, she would say the same thing. It was so great to see Sharon and Christine acknowledging Christine's role in Cassie's adoption process, because I do remember that story. It was really heartwarming. I wish we could have seen some flashbacks. But, hey, maybe if Christine continues to help Mariah and Tessa through their adoption process and journey, maybe we'll get to see some of those old flashbacks alongside Mariah and Tessa's new happy moment. Did Nick and Sally really kind of break up? All thanks to Connor? Wow, way to go, Connor. I mean, I don't know, they kind of said that they were going to break up and then danced around it, but they've done that before. I think they did the same thing last week. But maybe this is it. Maybe Nick and Sally are breaking up, because also in the previews, Nick was informing Sally that Newman Enterprises is replacing her and Chloe at Newman Media. Ooh. Broke up with the boss today, fired tomorrow. Sounds like the recipe for a sexual harassment suit to me. But probably not. It's probably more just a recipe for an Adam and Sally reunion, and not a moment too soon because Connor is out of control. Connor needs his dad to get back to that mind-blowing sex so that he can get his life back on track. Adam must have booked the rooftop for a full 24 hours because he really made the most of it. Longing looks into the distance, dream sequence. He's really lost it. Yeah, after Sally left him all sad and alone and dreamy up there, Adam slipped into a dream where Nick was basically standing between he and Sally, which is how Adam sees it. Adam sees it that his brother is standing in the way of his happiness with the woman that he loves, which is not entirely true because Sally rejected getting back together with Adam before she ever became involved with Nick. But if Sally weren't involved with Nick, then maybe Adam could have worn her down by now. Maybe this is just another example of the black sheep curse. Nick comes by everything easily, and Adam has to beg for scraps. Adam stayed up on the roof all night long, worrying about it, thinking about it, ruminating it. He had a couple of bottles of champagne too. That'll do it. Staying outside on a rooftop in October all night long with only a couple bottles of champagne to keep you warm. That'll do it. He made a half-hearted attempt to change his clothes before going to work the next day. And of course, as soon as he got to Jabot, Kyle was right there in his face, having to notice the hangover and amplify the hangover. There's nothing like having a hangover at work and then having the boss's bratty son in your face. But Kyle said that Adam's hardly even been at work lately, and now he shows up looking like this with his tie all smushed over to one side. Adam barely had time to shuffle around a few folders, and then he was out the door again. He got the text message from Sally to come to Crimson Lights quick, because Connor needs you. Apparently, Connor was just so ready to get away from Chelsea that he was like, "Hey, Mom, it's cool. You can drop me off here. I see Dad right inside. I'll go meet him. Bye." But that wasn't true. That is terrifying. A young kid like that going off on his own? Ugh. But Chelsea was supposedly dropping Connor off for a meeting with Adam, so does that mean that Adam was so lovelorn today that he forgot he had something planned with Connor? That's very unlike him. And it's all because of Sally. Sally's the reason that Adam was happy a few months ago, and now Sally is the reason that he's sad all the time now. Yeah, Connor really laid it on thick there. My dad was happier with you, but without you, I'm an orphan. I'd say that really sunk in with Sally, made her feel nice and guilty, which probably sealed Nick's fate. Funny, Sally got to hear Adam's kid's opinion on the love triangle this week, and she got to hear Nick's kid's opinion on the love triangle. Summer caught Nick and Sally in a hug and marched right over to Sally's office to confront her about it. I kind of thought maybe a better twist would have been if Summer was strangely supportive of Nick and Sally, playing against the type. But no. She made her disapproval known, not just to Sally, but to Nick too. But the hug that Summer witnessed was, I guess, a goodbye hug. Sally reported back to Nick everything that happened with Adam on the rooftop and the switcheroo invitation. And Sally also said that she felt responsible for what had happened with Connor. So they decided maybe it's better to just call the whole thing off. If their relationship's going to cause so much drama, then it's better to just call the whole thing off. There were two people that were Nick and Sally boosters, Chloe and Sharon. They're the only two. Nick had told Sharon he was dating Sally, and Sharon had some pretty fun reaction. She was almost over the top. Definitely trying to play up the supportive friend role. Like, oh, that's good for you. I'm so happy. But come on. I mean, Nick and Sharon are not just friends. They're ex-husband and wife. They've had decades of history. How could Sharon not have an opinion here? Especially when she's still close with both Nick and Adam. And she's also been in the exact same position as Sally, being the third point on their love triangle. I mean, Sharon knows better than anyone the true soap opera meaning of brotherly love. That low makeup look makes me real scared for Chelsea. Oh, she doesn't have no makeup on. Something's about to go down. It's not going to be good. When Adam caught up with Connor at the coffee house, they finally got a chance to talk about Chelsea and Johnny, and I don't know, maybe it's true. Maybe Adam didn't prioritize Connor enough if nobody's followed up with him since Chelsea dropped the bomb on him at the park a couple weeks ago. I mean, it was a conversation that was overdue. Somebody needed to talk to Connor. And Connor revealed that he's feeling like Chelsea just wants to add a new member to the family. Connor actually said, "It feels like Mom thinks I'm not enough anymore." See, Connor would never have said that to Chelsea. He needed his dad to say that too. And of course, Chelsea overheard it. I was glad she had a low-key reaction to match the low makeup day, because I did not need another Chelsea blow-up in front of Connor. Chelsea acted like everything was fine with Connor, and then she simply told Adam, "I'm going to fix this." And the previews for next week, Adam is showing up in her hotel room, and she's looking dark, like something dark's going on in there. Chelsea agreed to get Connor some counseling. I don't know, maybe now she needs to agree to get some of that for herself. But sometimes it's easier to help others than to help ourselves. By the way, Chelsea ran into Billy in the park this week, and he chased her away because Victoria and Johnny were on the way. And now Billy's backpedaling on his decision to leave Chancellor Winters. Jill ripped he and Lily a new one for not catching on to Nate sooner. And now Billy doesn't want to create a bad impression by now leaving the company too. Maybe he is going to eventually go do a podcast or a project with Chelsea. But for now, he says, "I'm going to stick around, Lily, so we can continue to have sex in the supply closet a while longer." Although I think that's probably going to get harder and harder now that Esther's around every corner. Victoria grew a heart this week. Almost. I guess that may be a little overstatement, but she almost grew a heart this week. She felt so bad that Nate lost his girlfriend over their failed takeover plan that she wants to offer him a job at Newman Media. In fact, what Victoria wants to do is fire Sally and hire Nate to put in her place. Fire Nick's girlfriend and hire her own future boyfriend. Okay, I see where your head is, Victoria, and I understand completely. If I were in your position, I'd do the exact same thing. But since when does Victoria care who she hurts? She really must have a soft spot for Nate. He totally screwed up the takeover plan, and he is useless to her now. She's got a million executives that can fill that role. Yet she says she's so touched by Nate's family loyalty. Whatever, Victoria. You've fallen in love with Nate's sexy scar eyebrow. I get it. I know the feeling. Oh, you guys. The Nate Devon confrontation at Nate's penthouse this week was one of the best scenes of the year. I was so impressed. Brighton James is so good and so on point. And Sean Dominic held his own. He has been given lots of faces, lots of attitude. I mean, they mostly argued the same old points until Devon brought up the fact that the Winters in Chancellor Winters stands for the company that he built with Neil. They had a partnership that someone like Nate could never understand. And that's when things got interesting. Nate said, "Oh, wait a minute. This is about something more. You, Devon, can't get past the fact that I'm not Neil. You're used to working with Neil and having that dynamic. And so you're holding everyone to that standard." I thought that was a really interesting point of conversation, even though I don't agree with it. I mean, if Devon were having trouble working with Lily, then yeah, I'd say so. But when all is said and done, I think it's more of a surface level problem. I think they're both just fighting to be the one in control. I think both Nate and Devon are just fighting to be the one in control. And all of the family drama and the Elena drama just feeds into that. Well, Devon didn't pull any punches when it came to Nate's thoughts on Neil. Devon told Nate that Neil would have never forgiven him for what he has done. Whew. I actually kind of disagree, though. I think Neil would have been furious. But if Neil could forgive Devon for sleeping with his wife while he was blind, I think he could forgive a little corporate sabotage. Welcome to the Cool Kid Club. Oh, could anybody else have said that besides Billy? Nobody's extending invitations and welcomes to the Cool Kid Club like Billy. He was saying that to Esther when he was welcoming her to the company. Welcome to the Cool Kid Club. Because, of course, Billy considers himself the coolest of the cool kids. Wherever he goes is the Cool Kid Club. Oh, congratulations, Naya, Daisy, Henry, Deetles, Brittany, Ron, Went, Tanya, and Sue W. You guys guessed it right. Now let's see if you can get this one. The quote is, "I can hold a grudge like the best of them." That could literally be anybody, but only one person said it. I can hold a grudge like the best of them. Now, who do you think said it? If you think you know, go to yrchat.com to leave your guess. And if you get it right, I will give you your shout out during next week's Y&R Chat. And during next week's Y&R Chat is when I expect to be back to full capacity. I should probably stop expecting things, though, because you just never know. I knew it, though. I said last week my daughter was sick, and I knew I was next, and I was. But I managed to avoid it for, I didn't feel sick at all for like the following 5 days, but ultimately all I did was put it off. I just delayed it, and now I'm sick. Actually, I probably sound worse than I feel at this point. I think the worst of it's over. I'm just, my voice is very weak. So, I hope that everything's going to be better next week. In the meantime, I'm just going to keep drinking my hot tea and using a humidifier and hoping everything gets better soon. But, I can still type. I need to go to yrchat.com, read comments, respond to comments, and that's what you can do too. I love hearing from you guys through the week. Sorry, I don't quite have the voice to read through comments this week or out loud, but I am reading them with my eyes, just not my mouth. Okay, everybody, I gotta give it a rest. I love you guys. I hope you have a really good week, and I will see you next Sunday. Bye.